So this is today's Campaign Chronicles, then, with you at this point all the way right up until the elections. And with us here on set, as ever, is Elena once again, our press reviewer, and you're digging through the latest political news in the run-up to that campaign, and it's all about a handshake today, is that right?
Well, kind of. Here's Nicolas Sarkozy and François Hollande shaking one another's hands, indeed, on the front page of Le Figaro and lots of the other papers today. Now, they're not, of course, kissing and making up, but they were both at the same dinner last night. That was run by France's biggest Jewish lobby, and they were both effectively out courting the Jewish vote, which is about 600,000 people in France. Now, is there actually such a thing as a Jewish lobby in France? We talk a lot about it in American politics, for example, but it's perhaps less cut and dried here. But they were both quite clearly pitching for that electorate. Sarkozy, for example, met the parents of Gilad Shalit, the Franco-Israeli soldier who was held in captivity in Gaza yesterday. He's become rather a totemic figure for France's Jewish community, and Hollande was also keen to talk about his long support for that cause, and there were several other presidential candidates, 6 altogether, who turned out for that dinner last night, and here are some of them talking about how much support they've always had for the Jewish organisation.
I'm here every year. There's no reason to change my plans in 2012.
I come often, not every year, but as often as I can.
This isn't my first time here. It's my 20th or so.
Wow,
No.
a lot of them, isn't there?
There were 6 of them there,
Yeah.
but now the CRIF, which is the Jewish organisation that hosted this, doesn't, of course, specifically support one political party, but they have, for example, attacked and refused to invite to their dinners the Green candidate Eva Joly and the left-wing candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon, because they've both supported a boycott of Israeli products in France. So is that kind of thing influential on France's 600,000 Jewish voters, or are they just voting on the same lines as everybody else, concerned about their economy and the end of the month? Well, Le Figaro is having a look at this today, and they say that while the bloc isn't as defined as it is in America, one of the researchers they talk to actually say that it's anti-Semitic to even suggest that there exists such a thing as a Jewish voting bloc in France. They do also say that the candidate's stance on Israel is important to quite a lot of Jewish voters. That might then put them off voting for Jean-Luc Mélenchon or indeed for Eva Joly, and that electorate is important because they do, of course, tend to be quite affluent. Interestingly, though, they also say that some of those Jewish voters might vote for Marine Le Pen, which seems bizarre given her party's history of anti-Semitism. Her father had a tendency to come out with inappropriate remarks about Jewish people, but they say that some of them are quite concerned about the influence of Islam in French politics.
Yeah, bizarre. 600,000 votes. It's worth courting, I suppose. France, though, very famously a secular country. Does religion really matter in the election?
Well, obviously, it famously is constitutionally secular, so much so that, for example, the centrist candidate François Bayrou refused to go to last night's dinner because he said that doing so was out of keeping with the secular spirit of the Republic, and that he didn't think that candidates should be lending their support to one religious lobby or another. But Le Monde points out that Nicolas Sarkozy's government has actually upset quite a lot of religious groups in its very strict interpretation of secularism. That's, of course, most famously, they've kind of upset the Islamic voters by banning the burqa and so on. But they say that actually the church also feels that some of those strict rules, a strict application of secularism also has targeted them. Obviously, the law banning religious symbols, even if it was really written to apply to Islamic headscarves, it also applies to people who want to wear cross necklaces if they work in a public place, for example. And while the Catholic Church, of course, does not specifically take sides in politics, they have said, for example, that some of the UMP's parties on immigration weren't very Christian, that it would be more Christian to have a more welcoming attitude towards immigrants. The head of France's Catholic Church, Cardinal André 23, said that. The Catholic Church also, though, is not keen on some of the socialist candidate François Hollande's policies. In his programme, notably, he backs gay marriage, and he wants a law allowing euthanasia. So the paper says that the Catholic vote is rather undecided at the moment because both sides, as we said, have done things that the Catholic voters aren't necessarily particularly keen on.
OK, well, that's the latest in the French papers, talking about all the latest on the election. At this time every day over the next few months, we're going to be talking the presidential elections, of course, as we gear up towards those as they happen in the spring. Elaine will be here every day at this time. Don't forget as well, you can have a look at Campaign Chronicles and all of France 24's programmes, as ever, on the website. So do have a little look at that if you possibly can. There's the front pages on there at the moment, talking about the Arab League plans to revive the Syria Observer mission and all the other top stories and all of France 24's programmes, once again, you can always see them on the website, www.france24.com. That's it from me. Weather forecast coming up very, very shortly, and then the latest headlines on the hour. So stay with us if you possibly can.
Watch France 24 live and free on your mobile phone. Anywhere in the world, on almost any cell phone, whatever your provider. Watch France 24 live and in 3 languages. France 24 on your mobile phone. Just visit our website, france24.com, and click on mobile. Select your phone brand, enter your phone number, and you'll receive a free SMS telling you how to install our player. You can watch France 24 live and get the latest world news for free on your mobile.
Get into the rhythm of African soccer. Africa Cup Fever until February 12th on France 24.